Hey, what's up guys, Marco here. Today we're going to be breaking down Tyler the Creator's Sugar on My Tongue. Hope you enjoyed the video. Sugar on My Tongue is the second track on Tyler the Creator's 9th studio album, Don't Tap the Glass. This track was produced entirely by Tyler himself. Okay, so today we're going to be exploring one of Tyler the Creator's, most experimental albums, and one of a kind album really. A hip-hop dance mainstream album in the 2020s, that wasn't on my bingo list. But yeah, I guess we'll take it. And I know that I'm kind of late on my remake, but I really got the inspiration to remake this from Tyler's performance at the Grammys this week. Amazing performance, a great vibe, and a really fun album overall. And with that being said, I kind of want to dive into this video as soon as possible, because we kind of have a lot to unfold. Like, this track is packed with sounds. So, yeah, let's jump right into the breakdown. So, first of all, to find our BPM, we're going to drag our song onto the track, and then we're going to right-click on system arrow, then select detect tempo. And as you can see, our BPM was automatically changed to 126 beats per minute. Okay, so first things first, we're going to start with the main melody. And first of all, I know that Tyler produced this album entirely, and from his producing style, I know that he likes to use a lot of Roland keyboards. More specifically, I've seen him use the Roland Phantom X, which is based on the synthesizer XV5080, which you can actually call, the father of the Roland Phantom. And Roland actually has a pretty specific VST, and I'm talking about Xenology Pro, which is actually modeled on the same XV5080 synthesizer. So a lot of presets that you can actually hear on Tyler's tracks, among most of his albums, are actually from here. You can find it here. But I, for one, unfortunately, couldn't really find, that many identical presets. So if you actually know the names or where I could find identical presets, leave me a comment and I'll be forever grateful. So, yeah, okay, moving on. We're going to be recreating the main melody in Serum using two ZSO wavetables across 8 voices for more detuning and width, and we're also going to be using this MG-Low 12 filter to cut off any necessary high frequencies, and we're also going to be using this envelope short release filter to actually, make it a bit more pinching to say. It's kind of complicated to explain, so just listen to the difference. Okay, so moving on, with this we're done with the main melody, so let's move on to the drums. So first of all, Tyler used a lot of the basic TR-808 samples, which are actually found in all the 808 machines, and a lot of the presets, or similar ones at least, can be found on these machines. So first of all, we're going to start with this snare and clap combination, which I actually found in some Don't Tap the Glass kit, and I'm pretty confident it's ripped out of the song. But yeah, sometimes you just gotta take the L and move on with it. Okay, next off, we're going to be adding some shakers for some bounce, and I've used these two shakers, which sound pretty accurate in my opinion. Next off, we're going to be adding some kind of, beep, or something like that sound effect, where I've actually used this perk that I found, and if I'm not mistaken, it's the same perk used in Lil Wayne's Lollipop. Okay, and following up, we're going to be adding the kick, where we have just a basic 808 kick, which we've also boosted in the envelope settings while lowering the volume to make it more punchy without actually distorting itself. Okay, so I've got the core of the drums ready, though later on we're going to be adding some hi-hats, which I've actually layered to create an almost identical sound. These are how the two sound separate. Okay, so for now we're done with the drums. We're going to be adding some more stuff for the chorus, but until then we've got bigger fish to fry. So with that being said, let's move on to the various themes of this song. Okay, so first of all we're going to start with a pluck, which I found an awfully accurate preset in Xenology called Noise Hit Tone. And I've also added Power Kikutsu and some Valhalla VSTs for reverb and width. Next off, we're going to be adding a growling bass, which I've remade in Serum using two ZSO wavetables. I've also added this really important MG-Low 12 filter with the resonance turned up to roughly 60–70% to create that buzzing sound, and in the filter tab, we're also going to be adding an equalizer to get rid of some low frequencies to not clash with the kick and the main melody. Next off, we're going to be adding a piano, more specifically a Rhodes piano, and in this case I've used the FL Keys stock VST. Okay, and the last thing to transition to the chorus, we're going to be adding a rising synth, which I made in Serum using 2 slow wavetables detuned by 10 and 5 voices. And I've also added this MG Low 12 filter to create some balance between the frequencies, and I've also added these envelope settings so that the start of the synth is gradual, fading into the song. Okay, next off, for the chorus, we're going to start with the drums, because here we have some pretty major changes. So first of all, we're going to be changing the pattern of the hi-hat. Next off, we're going to be layering the snare with some kind of whip, and I actually found a pretty accurate stock sound. Next off, we're going to be adding some open hats and rides to create some bounce and continuity, and here I went with a couple of one-shots. And with this, we kind of have the drums ready. So let's move on to the rest of the stuff. So first of all, we're going to be adding a bass, which I've remade in Serum using a basic Z-Slow wavetable with a pretty steep MG Caro filter and a slow attack and release envelope. Following up, we're going to add our first pad, which I've remade using a slow wavetable detuned by 5 voices with some minimal separation between them and balance of frequencies in the Caro filter and a really slow release. Next off, we're going to be adding the same pad pattern, but this time we've used 2 Z-Slow wavetables with a pretty minimal Caro filter and some similar envelope settings. Up next, we're going to be making the ARP, which actually wasn't, as complex as it sounds. So first of all, in Serum, I've used these 2 Z-Slow wavetables detuned by 4 voices with this minimal MG Low 12 filter and this rapid attack and release envelope to make it more synthetic. And the last synth of this chorus is going to be another gliding synth, which I remade once again in Serum using a slow wavetable with this Caro filter and these basic envelope settings. And we're also going to be enabling mono, legato, and I'm going to be turning up the portamento to approximately 90-ish milliseconds to make the synth slide from one note to another. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this video. I know that there are a couple more sounds later on and stuff, but I feel like it's just unnecessary to continue where there are only some minor changes. So yeah, with this, the breakdown is ready. So here's the final result.